Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just got back from running. I was actually speaking with Mr. B, and I was telling him that I have to call it running very loosely now, because running is what you do when you're young and everything doesn't hurt. But when I first start out running, it's like my hips hurt, everything hurts. When I first try to start running, and then so I just do more like run walking at this point. But anyway, so that's just the fun of getting old. All right, today these people in Congress are all on panic mode, like Rand Nooner's saying here. I heard one of the congressmen say that he was talking. I think he was on CNBC, and he was talking about how if you could kill Bitcoin, they would have already done it by now. Even China couldn't kill Bitcoin. And I think that he's 100% right. I think that Congress will be able to do things to try to control this in the short and medium run. But I believe that what Congress is going to find out is that this is a worldwide thing, and that they're really not going to be able to stop anything. The United States has abused its status as the world reserve currency for years, and whether it's from within or without, other countries are going to get around all of that, and so they're going to be getting on board. This is going to be more of a global thing in order for countries of the world to really handle this problem. There has to be some kind of there would have to be a literal global joint effort by all governments to put this to take care of this, and that's not going to happen. You know that. So anyway, I just want to show you a little bit of the freak out that's going on. This is from Rand Nooner. These people are in full panic mode. They realize they are about to lose full control of the financial system and ability to impose sanctions. Full-blown panic mode. Exactly right. They're trying to. This is freedom, is what it is, and central banks and governments don't like pure freedom. That can't happen. Then there was this, Madam Chair. This is a quote from Brad Sherman, is he a senator? I think he's a senator. If his name will come up. Yeah, I think this is the same guy that said we ought to just ban all cryptocurrencies. He's a real moron. But anyway, this is Representative Brad Sherman. Madam Chair, we need Mark Zuckerberg here, Sherman says, before saying Libra might do more harm to the U.S. than 9/11. So if you're wondering if Libra is going to happen or not, that right there probably tells you Libra isn't happening anytime soon. And then I got this from Mr. B. I thought this was hilarious. At XRP Mister, he sent me this, which is great. From XRP Junkie at XRP Junkie. Sometimes it's not what you say, but what you don't say. And it's a graphic with Steve Mnuchin from the other day. And this is what Steve Mnuchin's thinking in his head. Don't say Ripple. Don't say XRP. And then he accidentally slips and says MoneyGram. He said, oh, geez, that was close. I thought that was just great. So that might need to be my thumbnail for this. I'm going to keep that thing up. And then Anthony Pompliano, hearing people in Congress say things like the system is working shows just how out of touch they really are with reality they are. The truth is that the system isn't working for the majority of Americans. And then Rhythm Trader comes in and says the system isn't working for more than 50% of the world that lives under an authoritarian regime. That's 4 billion lives Bitcoin can help today. They make valid points, folks. Then Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 sent me this. Let's see if the computer is deciding to cooperate or not cooperate. We'll go to this one and see if it comes up. Okay. All right. Now I want to show you, this is just a series of different videos let me pause that. This is a series of different videos and this is really the big picture, folks. All of this has seemed negative the last few days, but it goes back to that old saying about how there is no advertisement. Any advertisement is a good advertisement, whether it's negative or positive. It's getting the word out there. And what I've literally seen on YouTube, usually when we have a pullback like we've had the last few days on YouTube, you see views of videos kind of pull back. That's not really happened, and the reason it's not really happened is because of that old saying. The fact that they're talking about crypto now, don't think for a minute that average people out there who have been hearing about this in whispers over the last few years, now they're beginning to see it in the mainstream. Let me show you this string. This is like 3 or 4 Squawk Box or CNBC videos just from today on Bitcoin and crypto and Libra and Congress hearings and all this. This one says Bitcoin is too volatile at the moment to be a practical medium of exchange, but Libra could solve that problem, says Senate Finance Committee member Senator Toomey. So maybe maybe he gets money from Facebook, who knows? But that's one guy on CNBC. And then the next guy is Patrick McHenry on here, and he was the one that I covered this earlier this morning, but he talked to Sorkin. I think there's no capacity to kill Bitcoin. And then there was another video here. Wrong video. Actually, I believe it was this one. This is the other one I wanted to show you. And this is the third one. Squawk Box, UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, Philip Hammond, explains why governments are so worried about Facebook's Libra. What's important in this video, if you go and watch this video, is that this guy says, no, we're not trying to ban any of these digital assets. We're going to create a framework. He says we're going to engage this and figure out how we can work in the system with these digital assets. They all know that they're not putting this back in the bottle. They know that they have to figure out how to work with these things. And so that's what's happening. And some of the other countries are ahead of the United States because we have a bunch of feet-dragging politicians over here, but they'll learn that lesson the hard way if need be. Okay, and next, and this is another example. This is from Stewart_XRP, July 16th, SEC Commissioner. We should take a safe harbor approach to crypto. Ashish Birla was actually in the crowd and asks a question. He says, I'm afraid that so much of the innovations are being pushed to Asia. And so is there a timeline for when the SEC will come back with clearer guidelines? This is an actual guy who works for Ripple who's asking the SEC, when are you going to come with clear guidelines? Because everything's moving to Asia because of you guys. And unbelievably, the lady, I think it was Hester Pierce, unbelievably, she was like, well, everything happened slow. And so it didn't sound at all like she was in any hurry or the SEC was in any hurry. I was kind of surprised by it. And now, folks, I believe, now, look, I've told you this week, all week, we're seeing things. I've pieced things together on my channel, and we're seeing the formation of what has been going on behind the scenes for the last year to 4 years, and the connections and the things Ripple's been working on. And I believe that the powers that be have seen what I've seen. And so now you're starting to see some of the FUD come back. This is from one of our old favorites, but this Michael at VAL5 Links sent me this. Ha ha ha. Swift announced its own plan for world domination according to its press release. Now, before I go into this article, I want to tell you, we've been talking about what Swift's doing for the last, year and a half, and there's nothing that Swift has been doing that's done anything except been trying to play catch up with what Ripple is doing around the world. And Ripple's been very bold in saying things that to the effect of Swift's not, we're in the midst of taking over Swift. Well, this lady who has been the chief FUD person over at Forbes magazine, Frances Coppola, she disappeared for a little while, but she's acknowledged in the past that she gets paid by someone, whoever pays for her little articles. But the things she writes in here are just unbelievable. It's like embarrassing, the things she's writing, and I want to read one of them to you. The way that she writes this is just not. It makes you want to throw up. She's so out of left field wrong on this and it's just doesn't even meet up with reality. But it's worth hearing. Swift is nothing if not ruthless. 2 years ago, it ripped the heart out of Ripple's instantaneous international payments offering with its GPI. Swift counts among its members and owners. Swift is a cooperative. Most of the world's major banks, inevitably, they adopted GPI. Within a year, 160 banks were using GPI, and Ripple was struggling to find a reason to live. Ripple's responded by adopting the cryptocurrency XRP and international. Ripple's responded by adopting the cryptocurrency XRP as an international payment standard and focusing on app-based retail payments through its partner banks. Well, this GPI thing, they're acting like Ripple responded to the GPI thing by coming out with XRP, which couldn't be further from the truth. But that is just complete and utter BS. But this woman, you talking about someone who's on a payroll with an agenda, that woman. And she's nasty too. She says a lot of nasty. I mean, I've seen her on Twitter. I don't get into it, but woof. Okay, XRP Trooper at Trooper XRP sent me this. Ripple pushing to corner the market in India, targeting popular. Now, I want you to hear this against the backdrop of what that Forbes, the Coppola woman just said in the Forbes article. This is what's going on while she says that Ripple is just struggling to live and on its last breath and all of this. Ripple pushing to corner the market in India, targeting population of 1.3 billion. Speaking at a presentation at India DAP Fest 2019, Sachin Maheshwari, a senior integration engineer at Ripple, said the company is implementing Xcurrent with all the banks in India. I'll repeat that. With all the banks in India, we made payments from Middle East to India within just 1 or 2 minutes and completed an entire validation of the transaction as well. In 2018, Ashish Burla, Ripple's senior vice president of product, said it was possible that the company had already cornered at least half of India's market. We looked early on at India, and we looked at 2 billion people, a huge market, and we decided, how do you get to 2 billion people? How do you get 2 billion people onto Ripple? Do we give the currency away to every Indian? That's like 2 billion. Just give it away? That was one idea, but then we realized that if we get the top 3 banks in India onto Ripple, you get 80% of the market share. And then we looked at where's the future, and so we realized in the next 5 years, 1 billion people will become banked in India, but they'll be banked through their phones. So then we started targeting mobile phone providers and telcos. I think you get the point there, folks. But so Ripple is struggling to live while they're conquering in the Indian banking system. Next, from Sean Michael at Michaels_Mister, sent me this from XRP Research Center at XRP Center. Bubyan Bank from Kuwait signs agreement with Ripple to provide instant transfer services to various parts of the world. The agreement will provide customers the possibility of transferring money anywhere around the clock. So this is over in Kuwait, but Ripple is struggling to live. Jaquito McPhee at Jaquito McPhee sent me this. This is a cool infographic from XRP Crow at Status. You can go to and see this graphic. He's got a great website, Status, STEDAS.HR, and you can go look at his graphics. But he's put a great one together on the Ripple, the leadership team, the board of directors, and the leadership and management, as well as honorable mentions down here. And so this is he's got a very good website that lays out a lot of good information on Ripple and XRP. And finally, if you've ever wondered if buying the dip is a good thing sometimes, The market had gotten down as low as, I think, 250 billion. We're up to about 266 billion. The digital asset investor was able to get in at 29 cents this morning on XRP. It's gotten as high as 32 cents today. And then C3 Nick says it all here. It is easy to make people overreact. Initiate a massive initial fall in price. Retail investors sell afterwards, pushing it even lower. Retail always has emotional inertia, which is exactly what gets exploited. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that buying dips is often a good thing. Thank you for listening.